This is Father Louis Skirty here at the Poor Clares Monastery in Galway, Ireland. We've been here before. Today we're introducing you to a new guest, because you've already met Sister Claire Marie on previous episodes. Today's guest is Sister Anthony. Is it Sister Anthony Marie?
Yes.
Or Sister Anthony?
Mary Anthony.
Mary Anthony. Nice meeting you, Sister, and thank you for this opportunity to interview you.
With pleasure.
Before the interview began, Sister Faustina and Sister Colette brought out another edition of their book for us. We have the first edition, and now we have another one. It's a very beautiful book of meditative prayers and thoughts, a book of simple wisdom and prayer, they call it. Poor Clares Galway, Calm the Soul. Why not give them a shout out? So I'll put that right here. I'm excited to be here because this is the first time you're going to be on our program. And I want basic history. Are you willing to share that? Good, good. Sister, when did you come in? I know that you've been interviewed, but
yes.
just so
yeah. I entered the monastery January 2016 and I made my final profession June 2022.
And we were here for that,
And
and
you were here
it was
for
a wonderful experience. And we were here when you first came in 2016, before you, I guess, discerned.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Sister,
That's it.
I'm going to ask personal questions. What year did you enter?
1961.
61. So, was Vatican II in session yet?
No, I think it started the next year.
Right,
Or maybe,
wow.
yeah. There was a lot of talk about it.
What were can you go back and think, what were your expectations of it? Was it all new? Was it confusion?
Of here, you were just, when you come in, you're just a bundle of confusion. You're just numb. You don't know, you just know you have to come, that you just have no choice and you just take what comes. But as the years go by, it becomes clearer and you realize why you're here. And it takes a lifetime.
This is beautiful. It takes a lot. What was your inspiration to join the convent? If you, yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Well, what would be your inspiration today to join?
Well, I suppose to give your life to God, because He was obviously asking for it, and it took a long time to come around to saying yes.
That's the piece that people will question.
Yeah.
What does that mean, to say yes to God? And that means He's asking you something.
You're giving Him a blank check, and you don't know what He's going to ask.
And He gave you
Everything I have since. It's been more than worthwhile.
Interesting. Growing up, where did you grow up here in Ireland?
In Clonmel, in County Tipperary.
Tipperary.
I was born in August 1939, and a month later the World War started, but I wasn't responsible.
It was just a coincidence. So, in your family, how many children were there?
4.
And how many entered religious life?
2, my brother and myself.
Oh, really? What did he enter?
He's a missionary father, white father.
Wow, and where is he now?
He's retired in Dublin.
God bless him. I had Mass yesterday at Knock,
Yeah.
and I celebrated one of the white fathers.
Oh, my.
Yeah, we just met. It was the first
Yes.
time, and he was talking a little about his ministry.
Yeah.
That's great. What was it? I'm going to go back to your childhood. What was it like growing up in your household?
Kind of bedlam, I'd say.
Your father was a daily mass goer, wasn't he?
Oh, he was.
And you
My
used to
mother's,
go at times.
I can't be saying everything. My mother was constant, her constant prayer was, merciful God, give me patience.
That's still our prayer. Mercy. That's great. Did she have, there's only 2 children, right?
4.
Oh, 4 children.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm the eldest.
Oh, okay. So there was a lot of need for patience.
I suppose there was.
Did you, I don't mean to insult you, did you
Yeah.
go to school?
Yes,
Was it, did
It
you
was
all,
a local school, just 10 minutes away.
okay, and all four of you went
Yes,
to the same school?
yes. Well, then when my brother, after a few years, he went to a boys' school.
Okay, and wow, fascinating.
So we were all educated locally.
Good. Was it a religious school, a church
It
school?
was.
Oh, okay.
I went to the presentation and nuns, and he went to the Christian Brothers.
Okay, so they had a hold on you.
Yeah.
Were those sisters, those nuns, an influence on you? For your
Oh, they
religion?
certainly were. They certainly were.
In what way?
Well, they were very conscious of bringing us up as Catholics, and you know, we got an awful. My first sisters were the Sisters of Charity, and then at 12 I went to the secondary school and we had a presentation. But they certainly gave us the faith. They were wonderful teachers.
That's great. Did you teach at all in your career?
No,
No.
I was working in an office, pen pusher.
When, okay, so you graduated, is that what they say here, graduate? Because I know they go from one school to another.
Yes, the national school was. I left that at 12, and then I went to secondary school for 6 years, and then I got this job in the county council
Oh, that's
in
great.
Galway. So I emigrated to Galway.
And you
And
never
I'm here
left Galway?
since, yeah.
Oh, really? Since then?
Yes,
Oh, so you worked here and then
I worked
joined?
here for 3 years, and then I entered here
Fascinating. Why?
because it was a Franciscan order, and I was in the third order of St. Francis. So once I heard there was an order of St. Francis, I didn't look any further.
Interesting. So you knew that you were at home.
I was.
What did you know about the convent, or even now, what do you know about the facility, the physical facility of this convent here in Galway, a nun's island?
How do you mean?
What year was it constructed?
Was it 1642?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so the sisters have been here since then.
They have,
On
yes.
and off. Okay, and
Yes, I think they had to stay, they had to go for some years due to persecution. Some of them went to Spain, and others lived in hiding in the town for so many years. And then they came back again. Was it 1825 or 29? Not sure which.
yeah, wow. When you met the sisters here,
Yes.
what was it like to come into the convent? Because I'm sure it wasn't as open as it.
No, there was a double grill, and there was a kind of a diamond pattern about that size, and you could see very little through it.
And
It was a
even,
bit daunting.
right, and you still wanted to be part of
Well,
that.
you had to because God was asking you, and that was
That's-
you couldn't get away.
I want our audience to understand that. How do you know God was asking you?
I don't know. He just put his thumb on me, and that you couldn't get away.
I love
And
it.
you might fight it for a few years, but in the end, you just have to come.
So I guess he's
So I have
that.
no regrets, and I never had any doubts. Once I came in, I knew I had done the right thing.
That's good. He's like the hound of heaven, as they say.
That's
right.
right.
Interesting. What were those first years like?
Oh gosh, they weren't great. I mean, I was in a kind of a daze for a long time.
Interesting. Like,
I mean, the shock of giving up everything and giving up your whole life and starting a new life just like that. No,
so shocked but no regrets.
no, definitely not.
Interesting. Were I'll ask naive questions. Were the sisters welcoming?
Oh, they couldn't have been nicer.
Oh. And were they educating
Very
you?
normal women.
And what year? That was 61?
Yes,
Wow, that's great. And was the educational system set up here so you could learn more about St. Clare and the Franciscan
yes, it
way?
was what you call the novitiate. You have a novice mistress, and she teaches you everything.
Okay. And that's still
It is.
the format.
Yes.
Because I met Sister Faustina is now the novice
Yes.
mistress. Right. Great. And from the novice mistress, and again, I'm asking questions on behalf of the audience. Like, what would they want to know? What is the task of the novice mistress?
We're supposed to find out if God wants you here. If you know, you could be coming in yourself and be sure you had a vocation, and everybody around you could see you hadn't. You know,
Interesting. What were your parents' reaction?
well, we have nuns and priests in the family, so they weren't surprised.
Oh, that's good. I realized that. And was your brother already a priest?
No, no, he was younger than I am.
Okay. So, uh, so their reaction was welcoming.
Well, it was a huge sacrifice to ask of them. I mean, I was going to come here and I'd never be going home again, so it was a big thing. But because they had religious in the family and they were Catholics, they knew what it meant, and they did know that it was a privilege, really, you know, for one of their children to be asked by God.
What would you say to a young kid today? And I know you see a lot of college kids here because the university's very close and you have a lot of spiritual days, recollection, retreats. What would you say to one of them today about being interested in this life? Because you emphasized how difficult it was, you had to give up a lot.
Yes. Well, it does hit you like you know, a rocket. It's totally unlike anything you've had up to then. I know you're a Catholic and you're going to mass every week, but it's and you would have heard in school from the nuns, and you would have seen nuns teaching you, but it's another thing altogether when the finger is pointed at you, you know, and you say, "Will you be a nun?"
Did
And
anyone
it takes a
ever
long time to get used to the idea.
Oh, really? It did?
It does. It takes a few years.
Even though you're in here?
No, that before I came in.
Oh, okay. A few years before you can realize that you
yeah.
have been called to be a nun.
You don't realise it, but you hold back, you know, and it takes a lot of courage to say yes.
Interesting. To whom did you say yes?
To God, because you're signing away your life, but you know it's in safe hands.
That's great. And you were safe in here.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're going to take a few segments, so we're going to pause now, and then we'll pick up again. Okay? Do you have any last words to say before we get into the next section? No. This has been fabulous, and our friend Sister Marie Claire is also here, accompanying us today. She's Jerry's cousin, as you know, and we'll be back again for the second segment as Sister continues her journey here on Nuns Island in the Franciscan convent of St. Clare.